Okay, when you watch this, or at least when this video comes out, will be somewhere in the middle of my stomach growling and game one's being played, because I wanted to wait for the play-ins to be over. Listen, if the NBA isn't counting them, then I'm not counting them. So last night we were on Discord. Thank you to everyone who made it out. It was so much fun to watch these games with friends. You know, some people had the Knicks game going, the Nuggets were on, and then we had some NHL games going as well. And I thought, to switch things up, I would check in with you guys so that we could come up with our community predictions. So for this video, we'll go over a bit of a preview of each matchup, and then who the server predicted would win every series. So go ahead and let me know in the comments which team you'll be supporting. There are no wrong answers, but maybe there's an especially correct answer. I'm pretty sure that's what Orwell wrote about, right? And I also have, of course, the trusty basketball to do some tapping for the video. So we'll go down the line, and for the NHL video I started in the Western Conference. So for this video, let's start in the East with the Celtics versus the Heat. A replay, actually, the conference finals last year. We're getting both conference finals from last year replayed in the first round this year. And the conference final between the Celtics and the Heat actually won in 7 games. So the Celtics are looking for revenge here. But this time, they are a different breed. They finished, I think, 14 games ahead of the Knicks this year. They had the 5th best point differential in NBA history. The roster is healthy. So this video will probably come out as they're playing their first game. But it's definitely up to them, up to the Celtics to set the tone. Miami, they look like they'll be without Jimmy Butler probably for the whole series, I think. He has a sprained MCL. And guys, I have something funky going on with my knee too. I guess that's the life of an elite athlete. But yeah, I mean, missing Butler is a huge factor for Miami. And the server unanimously agreed that our pick was going to Boston. Then we have versus the Magic. And this was a much tougher decision. In the chat last night, in their regular season meetings this year, each team won 2 games, 1 at home and 1 away, and the smallest margin of victory for any of those 4 games was 7 points. So Magic fans, I wouldn't get discouraged just yet about the result last night. These are they're pretty similar teams in that they're both defensively minded. They both have big dudes who, might slow down with that quicker playoff pace. I think this is the one matchup where I have to make the final decision for our community, because we're split on our pick. Right. I love an underdog. And I think if the Magic can keep Cleveland out of the paint, which they did not do in game 1, I think they can bring this one back. So I'll go with a long series, and I'll go with the Magic on this one. Then we have the Pacers versus the Bucks, and it was a resounding. I'm giving you the prediction right away. The team said Indiana. And there were really 2 factors that, came up, where one of them was no Giannis for who knows how long. Last I checked, he was listed as doubtful for tonight's game, for game 1. I don't think he's been practicing, so it's not looking too good for at least, like a week, which brings us to game 4. And the other factor was Doc Rivers. There is no love for Rivers, excuse me. I'll repeat myself in case I need to cut that. There is no love. It sounds extra salty now that I'm repeating it. No love for Doc Rivers in our community. The Bucks have a losing record since since he's taken over. Now, to be fair, it's fair, I think, to expect a learning curve when a new coach comes in, but still that plays into, we're still in that period, in that moment now, and the amount of opponent field goals from the paint has shot up since he took over. This is just not looking like a team that can get past the Pacers. And finally, in the East, we have the Knicks versus the 76ers. And again, we have the benefit of having seen game 1 already. We were watching together last night. But I think it sort of played out like you would expect. The 76ers rely heavily on Embiid. When he was taken out to have his knee looked at or worked on, the Knicks really took advantage. I think it was a 26-point turnaround is what we were saying last night. In the regular season, the 76ers went 31-8 in games where Embiid played, and then he missed 2 months with his knee injury. So can he keep healthy now with the pace of the playoffs? Time will tell, but it's going to be a huge factor for the 76ers. Defensively, though, they did manage to, slow down Brunson, which is huge. That being said, Hart steps up for the Knicks. The Knicks are looking like a much more balanced team than the 76ers. They had, McBride, Bogdanovich on the bench to help shore up the team and get the win. So it should be a tight series if Embiid stays healthy. It's going to be a long one. But as a team, as a community, we picked the Knicks through no encouragement of my own, I swear, to win this series. Now, let's go on over to the West, and we'll start with the Thunder versus the Pelicans. Williamson is a huge, he'll be hugely missed by the Pelicans in this series. The only thing that maybe could hinder the Thunder is that a lot of these guys, most of these guys, have no playoff experience. They're young. Will those final minutes of a game get to them? And to the Pelicans' credit, they finished with the best road record in the league this season. So if anything, make the most of your games in Oklahoma, I guess. They might be able to get a game or two in, but without a doubt, without hesitation, our pick was the Thunder. Then the Clippers versus the Mavericks. This is a fun one. We have Luka Doncic, Kyrie, Kawhi, James Harden, Paul George, Westbrook. A who's who of star players. Obviously, the main priority for the Clippers will be to slow down Doncic. And we'll see today if they're up to the task. And then I think Kawhi is out for now. Questionable at best for the first few games, which might hurt the Clippers a little bit. the Mavs have great momentum going. They're relatively healthy. And the chat picked the Mavericks to win this series, which I'm really excited about. And I'll definitely be jumping into the server for some of their early games, at least, because I'm an old lady. Now, the Timberwolves and the Suns is another interesting one. The Suns are coming into the playoffs on a roll. They went 10-4 in April to finish the season, and many people are singing their praises. I've seen a lot of people pick the Suns for this series. Now the Wolves, we know they're a defensive-minded team, but again, we have the benefit of having seen Game 1 now, and we saw Anthony Edwards lose his damn mind in it was the third quarter. Good for 18 points. He was shooting from everywhere, outplayed Kevin Durant, and suddenly the defense is like a secondary thing. But you still have a player in Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year in 2021, could be a candidate this year. So the Wolves are looking very well-rounded into the playoffs. And Suns momentum be damned, really. So our team picked the Timberwolves to win the series. And I think that just leaves us with the Lakers versus the Nuggets. A rematch. I mentioned earlier, a rematch of the 2023 Western Conference Finals. Unfortunately for the Lakers, not looking as competitive this year. Well, I say that. Denver swept the series last year. And actually, the Lakers have not won a game since against the Nuggets since December 2022. And I don't think we have much of a reason to think that anything is going to change here. Jokic averaged a triple-double against the Lakers last year in the playoffs. The Lakers haven't worked on their roster depth, and LeBron and AD can't carry this team alone. Certainly not against a team like the Nuggets. So yeah, we picked the Nuggets to win this series pretty easily. And that's it for the first round. But of course, we had to pick our champions, a team to win it all. The Celtics are favorites right now in the books to take home the trophy. But that's not who we went for. to win the NBA playoffs. In proper UFC parlance. And still, the Denver Nuggets going back to back as NBA champions. Jokic, with Murray by his side, is on another level, and they'll be able to run the whole thing. Did I call him Murray? Sometimes the French just comes out. But guys, don't forget to let me know in the comments who you're going to be cheering for during the playoffs. You can tell me who you think will win it, but more importantly, I want to know who you'll be watching, who you'll be cheering for. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and thanks again to the Discord crew for hanging out last night. I had a blast, and I'll see you in the next video.